Let's do something completely out of character for a YouTuber. I want to get this video to 200 likes. Of course, that means I need views, so share this around. Even if you tell people how terrible it is. Subscribe if you haven't, and click that little bell icon. I have the video proving why they're saying to mute Kanye right now. I've got the evidence for it. So he went on TMZ in the studio and flipped out and told them that slavery 400 that because slavery went on for so long, it must have been a choice. Because why wouldn't they fight back? That kind of shit, right?
Yeah, well, I mean he's right. Why didn't those lazy slaves get a job and stop being slaves?
No, he's talking about fighting back against the masters and stuff. It's like because a lot of them didn't die.
I'm not even getting into this discussion.
No, but Kanye
Multiple reasons.
Okay, but Kanye is so old and fat now that it's kind of funny.
He's one of rap's favorite people, right? But we talk about this, that before he was elected president, people in hip-hop, it was an in thing to put Donald Trump in your rhyme somewhere. And by the way, I am in hip-hop, but I'm not just in hip-hop.
Look how old and fat he's gotten.
I know, he's so swollen looking. Maybe he's got some kind of disease that's melting his brain.
No, it's called being a dad. He just has dad bod now. He just doesn't care. Like he got the hot bitch, okay? He got Kim Kardashian, and now he doesn't need to try anymore.
Yeah,
she's hot.
The money rolling in, and he'll be set.
But I'm not just that.
Yeah, you ever see the non-Photoshop pictures of Kim's ass? That
Yeah, she's ugly as fuck.
That shit.
Let's listen to his actual thing though. Hold on, he goes.
Black community. Yeah, I'm always gonna.
Because the reporter calls him out. So.
The world. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
Oh, fuck my life.
Love your ceiling, Callie.
Yeah, my storage is full and it won't let me turn the camera off yet.
I like the word.
Okay, so I said there's that slavery for 400 years that is a choice, and now he's comparing it to being in a mental prison. That everybody's in a mental prison right now.
You know, how about he travel back in time and become a slave and see how easy it is to
let us all
end it
go
all on your own.
Let us all go watch Red Pill Black videos, and then we'll know we'll get out of our mind prison by watching Candace Owens.
This is the problem with becoming too rich and too powerful and being surrounded by people that always tell you yes. It destroys your sense of proportion.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if we really wanted to be educated, we'd have to go watch Tree of Logic.
Oh God, I hate her. No,
you evil bastard.
You can't tell me nothing, right?
Look at his face.
Well, that's Kanye.
The fuck happened? Did he get surgery? It doesn't
what happened is he got married. He
ate a lot of butter
and stopped trying.
And they named their kid North.
All that rich people food.
And what they named the other one?
Well, Jeff named his kid Winter, so whatever. Kanye.
North, south, east, west.
No, it was northwest, and then it was
southwest.
Kanye?
No, it's Melissa, what Kanye and Kim named that other kid?
Something unimportant. Like,
No.
remember Will Smith has an older son that nobody knows about?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not famous.
it's northwest.
He's the ones in the KKK now, right?
His kids are Northwest, Saint West, and Chicago West.
Chicago.
No,
I actually think it is Saint.
Yeah.
Pretentious Hollywood people.
That one come out.
Oh, ask him.
Like, when the hell was she even pregnant with a third one?
Some celebrity named their kids Rebel, Rocket, Racer, and Rogue.
Frank Zappa named one of his kids Moon Unit.
That's actually
Moon
awesome.
Unit.
Apple.
That's when you know you've done too many drugs.
Watch this though. Okay, this other black dude that works at TMZ, he goes off on Kanye here.
Sapling.
Hang on.
Do you feel that I'm feeling? Do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free? I actually don't think you're thinking anything.
Hey, man.
Right there.
I feel like that because Kanye, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind
¿Dónde estás la lombra?
while you are making music and being an artist and living a life.
Be a little longer. We gotta go shower.
Finally, someone speaking some truth to this stupid idiot.
We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Frankly, I'm disappointed. I'm appalled. Brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have forfeited.
He's like, I don't care. I'm gonna go home and get my ass wiped by a
he
butler.
apologizes afterwards.
I don't give a shit. A white guy, when I get home, is gonna wipe my ass. I don't give a shit.
No, he apologized at the end. At the end of this, he apologizes.
Well, see, that's what the problem is. He's surrounded by a ton of yes men. Everybody around him says yes all the time, and he is never. Yeah, he's never like. No one ever gives him a contrary opinion.
Yeah,
ever.
but look, Kanye is turning into Drake. Look at him. He looks like Drake.
Oh yeah.
So the talent's going away too? Wait, Drake never had any.
He apologizes.
Wait, what?
Well, Drake had good acting talent.
I have all of the
That's
dragon
debatable.
I love that he apologized.
Excuse me, was you saying something? You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing.
The relevant topic of mental slavery as a concept.
Yes, yeah. Go hashtag
skip
reverse
past.
it. Yes. like
Yes.
like Willy Wonka would say, strike that, reverse it.
Yeah, to skip past the weaponized autism.
Yes.
You sit here and you think of the concept of who exactly is in charge of that narrative.
Yeah,
I'm in charge of the world, bitch.
And that's the question. Who is in charge of the narrative of the mental slavery that they're talking about?
Yeah, are you holding yourself in mental slavery, or is someone else holding you there?
Everybody is holding their own self.
There is a legitimate argument to be made, and keep in mind, I'm neutral. I'm unaffiliated as it comes to party, but I think there's a very good argument to be made that the Democratic Party is the one holding the leash on that mental slavery right now.
You don't think it's like most political parties holding that leash? You don't?
There's a possibility of it flipping.
Both parties are like equally
right now. That mental slavery, particularly for people like, let's say, Black Lives Matter or Antifa. Right now, they're held by the Democratic Party. And I think,
but
unfortunately,
there's a huge mental leash held around the right wing also.
Well, yeah, of course, and usually on the young white boys of America.
I'm gonna go hunting and riding 4-wheelers. Hello, hell yeah!
You can't tell me nothing.
And to be fair, it's because they're good with numbers. You could say the same about Asian businessmen. They're good with numbers. That's why they succeed. They can also dick around the lower class because they succeed.
As far as mental slavery, though, I think it's more ourselves. Like, that's what Kanye. See, this is the point that Kanye was trying to make. Okay, Kanye was trying to. I think anyway. I don't know if this is true, but my opinion on what Kanye was saying, my interpretation was that what he was trying to get at was that it seems like he's like, yeah, if you're in it for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. I think what he wanted to say is kind of like mental slavery. We're keeping ourselves in it.
We make our own walls, is what you're saying.
That's what Kanye believes. Kanye, because of his posts on Twitter lately about him saying question everything and blah, 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 is about him thinking that he's keeping himself in mental slavery, and that's what he was going for. I mean,
I understand what he's saying. Like, you keep yourself in your own mental walls.
He just said it very, very wrong the way he said it. Oh, God.
Yeah. He said it, differently.
Oh, look, Dirty Dan. I'm going to get you, Dirty Dan.
What? You kicked him out? We have something very interesting.
No, he came in and laughed.
Oh.
I wanted to do SpongeBob references. Dirty Dan.
I want to touch your dirty dick, Dirty Dan.
I am never posting.
Unless you're under 18, then I don't want to touch your dick, Dirty Dan.
Don't worry, I'm not posting the hang out.
Anyway, as the concept goes down in there, it's not necessarily that we ourselves hold our own leash. It's that we willingly give that leash to others. Because at any point, we could just pick up a knife and cut that fucking leash off and walk the fuck away. It's not a chain leash. It's fucking paper thin. It's not hard to walk away from that mental slavery concept.
let's use the third wave, like extremist feminism, as an example, where it's like you're stuck to this ideology, and you can't like some of these people can't let go of that ideology no matter what, even if it's proven inaccurate what they're talking about. And it's like that's one example. And then there's other political ideologies where like you're insistent, you're like, I'm a left winger and that's it, or I'm a right winger and that's it. Either way.
The problem is you give that ideology the end of your leash. At any time, you could move it away and fucking walk away from it. It is your own willingness to allow them to hold that leash that is what keeps you trapped.
And that's why physical slavery was so much different, because it's like it was actual people that were controlling it. I mean,
but to be fair, and this may be a little controversial to say, but to be fair, if they did very much by numbers outnumber the slave owners, they could have rebelled, and a lot did. They just didn't do so organized, and that's one of the reasons why they keep them illiterate, so they cannot rebel easy. It's all word of mouth, and that does lead into these issues of, hey, if you want to keep a people subjugated, you have to remove reading and writing, because then they can't communicate. And once you remove communication, it's easy to enslave a people.
Well, that's part of the reason why the language becomes so obfuscated from the really sort of like the real.
I thought you were asleep.
The hardline SJWs is because, it's kind of like the manipulation of language so that the goalposts are always shifted. So, there's a definition of racism and then that gets changed, and then the definition of, a Holocaust denial, they shift that boundary so that it becomes, and in that way, it's kind of, when you manipulate language so much and it loses all its meaning. It's almost a way of kind of exerting a lot of power on the public, and it just takes away that critical thinking.
Oh yeah.
And sort of logical consistency that we normally have.
Yeah. By the way, I like, we're talking about mental slavery, so I want to think about this, like people who, for example, who are like, as soon as you're in a stream and then the stream, like, you start talking about something intelligent, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's not entertaining anymore. It's like, talk about mental slavery. It's just like I don't know. I'm just saying that we're trying to actually talk about an intellectual discussion. And then,
okay, well, I wouldn't call it an intellectual discussion. I'm by far not an intellectual. It's just not talking about the trolls.
We're talking about a bullshit, crazy, like what we know and discussion.
No, but
look at regimes that. But look at regimes that actually began to subjugate and oppress the people. What is one of the first things they did?
They
burned books.
Hershey bars.
They burned books.
Yeah.
Hershey bars.
They're removing knowledge, and when you remove knowledge from people, they become easier to subjugate, because an idiot doesn't know they're being slaved.
Snickers bars.
Well, yes, Snickers bars too, because if you're hungry, you just should eat a Snickers. By the way, not paid for by Snickers.
I just don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just gonna name different candy bars I like until
the concept of
I fucking understand what you're saying.
People.
Okay, they don't want. Okay, basically what he's saying is, number one, you would take away the gun so the people can't defend themselves. There's that, but then you take away books. And that's why in Korea, not so much now because it's going to be changing soon, I hope. But with Korea and other countries like Saudi Arabia, same thing. China, sort of. Same type of thing where it's like you take away education, you take away books, you take away knowledge, you ban them because you don't want them learning anything besides what you tell them.
Excuse me, was you saying something? You can't tell me nothing.